Hi guys, welcome to the Esports Hub. First, this is a new series, it's an interview series hosted by myself, SEBBY, and we have a really big guest on for the first episode today. We've got Tuesday Sensor Martin from the FaZe clan. Say hello.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
So we'll start off with a couple of questions. So I've got one, obviously AW's just come to an end. So what do you think, three things Advanced Warfare could have improved on to improve the competitive scene? What could have been improved in the game?
It's a tough question to answer. Advanced Warfare, I only played it halfway through. I stopped playing it back in March. I know they added DLC. They try to make it new. They try to make it refreshing. It just seemed as time went on, people stopped watching the game, and I don't think it really has anything to do with things they could have done better. I just think the game itself as a whole, people didn't want to watch it just for the simple fact that you were jumping up in the air and you could just fly around the map. People are used to watching Call of Duty being on the ground, being basic, and they had this set mind in their head of how Call of Duty should be played and watched. And I think with Advanced Warfare in the beginning of the season, as we saw when we played Optic in the finals, I think it had like 250,000 viewers on MLG TV, and then after that, everything just slowly declined. And I think a couple of reasons that to do with that is Nadeshot retired. I think he was the biggest person in competitive Call of Duty, and when he wasn't there anymore, I think viewership also declined. And then I think a couple of problems with the streaming services on MLG, and then after that, I just think the game, people lost interest in it, and then that's just what really happened.
Yeah, I think the game was a major thing that lost interest. Just not normal Call of Duty, so those basic Call of Duty fans didn't enjoy it because, as you said, it was completely different to what everyone had seen. People don't like change. I think it's the ultimate thing. The second question then, your own personal top 3 highlights from the Advanced Warfare season, whether it be something you did, whether it be just something in the game, like a map you remember like from a tournament, just top 3 things from yourself's point of view.
Okay, starting with third to first, I would say number 3. I don't know. I had to put Optic and FaZe in there. I think the entire season between Optic and FaZe was just a really, honestly, my number 3 favorite moment was when Optic played against Prophecy at Gfinity. This is the event that I was supposed to team with Prophecy, and then they dropped me like the day of the roster lock, and then they got second at the event to Optic, and they almost made a comeback, but then Optic shut them out. I think they beat them like 6-4 last map, Detroit S&D. So seeing Aches lose definitely made me happy because, as you guys know, if you guys have been following competitive COD for a while, I think that a lot of the things in the past, a lot of people took Aches' side over my side, and I think it really declined my progression through Advanced Warfare, and that was one of the reasons why I stopped playing, was because it always came down to either me or Aches, and people would pick him over me, and then seeing him not win versus Optic was one of the highlight moments. I know it sounds a little bit disappointing for some people, but I was pretty happy about that. Number 2, I'd have to just say FaZe's success throughout the entire season. When I stopped playing, FaZe was really, they were placing well, but they weren't winning, and I felt in my heart that I could have helped the team win, and no one really wanted to give me a shot on the team. But as the season went on, they picked up a really good roster, a very mature roster of talented players, and they all clicked, and they always had great comeback moments versus Optic in the finals. So that's what I really look back at. But the number 1 moment, I think you guys can predict this, obviously, would be winning the first tournament. It was the biggest tournament of the year. It was the most hyped tournament of the year. It couldn't have been any closer, and the way it finished, and for me to make that play at the end to help our team win, that was one of the best moments. It had to be the best moment. That search and destroy recovery, game 10, 6-4 S&D. I had to say that was by far the best moment. I couldn't have asked for anything better than that.
Yeah, especially with, was it Aches' thumb as well? He cut his hand as well, hadn't he?
Just the entire storyline behind it, with Aches not getting any sleep, without eating anything, with his thumb having stitches in it. Going from the losers bracket, having to beat Optic twice in the grand finals, the way we beat them in the grand finals, it was a great moment in Call of Duty history, for sure.
Yeah, and so then the third question, if you had to pick a roster for Black Ops 3, so obviously you were captain, you had to pick a roster for Black Ops 3, who would be your 3 teammates?
My old school team, strict to business. I would take Dito, Apathy, and Saints, just like that. I don't think that's going to happen. I wish it could happen. I don't think it will. I'm trying to still work out things as far as playing on an organization and what my team is going to be. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I still need to work out individually and personally, and then after that's all worked out, I could figure out which players I'll be teaming with. So we still have another week until the game comes out, and I think after the game comes out, there's still going to be roster changes. There's a lot of teams that announced their rosters going into the next season, but I think there's going to be a lot of changes, just like how there always is with Call of Duty. So I'm excited, and hopefully everything could work out the way I want it to.
Cool. So that kind of leads nicely into our first Twitter questions that we've got from the community. It comes from Merc Rabbit, and he said, "If you, when you come back to competitive, will you create a team under FaZe, like an Optic Nation type team, like Embo's created under Optic? Will you try and do that with FaZe, or you look for another organisation? Obviously, you know your heart, and you're quite close now with the FaZe guys. So would that be your ideal situation, or?"
The ideal situation would definitely be playing for FaZe. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I don't really know at this point in time. There's still another week, and I think we're waiting on Activision and see what's going to happen with the league, because everyone knows that there's going to be another league coming out moving into the next season. We just need to know the details of it, what's going to happen, what the rules are going to be. That's what's really the most important thing at this point in time, is just figuring out what the rules and the regulations are, because this year is going to be very different from the past. It's going to be more structured, more professional, and we need to follow them by the rules. So when we figure out what those rules are, we'll be able to move forward. But obviously, in an ideal situation, that would be my ultimate. I wouldn't say my dream, but my ultimate best case scenario.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be joining the FaZe team, as you guys obviously know. They've won 3 of the last 5 events. It wouldn't make any sense. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's a tough situation because I'm so branded as FaZe, and not many pro players are into doing YouTube the way that I've done YouTube, and other players in the past behind me have as well. So I'm in a weird spot right now. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just waiting.
Just waiting. Okay, no worries. So, a couple of different questions then. What's your favourite game apart from, obviously, Call of Duty? What would be your favourite other game?
I honestly don't play many video games anymore. The only video game I play is Call of Duty. But my favorite video game of all time, besides for Call of Duty, would have to be... There's a few that I have to say. I'd have to say Zelda. I'd have to say Super Smash Brothers, and then Pokemon Game Boy games were by far my favorite. But right now, the only video game that I play at this point in my life is just Call of Duty. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. And then a different one. I don't know if you've heard of them, but would you ever consider eating a deep fried Mars bar? So it's basically
what is that?
like you know what a Mars bar is, right? It's
No, I have no idea.
It's like a chocolate bar. So it's just a chocolate bar of chocolate, and then deep fried. So obviously it's like been put in to a deep fry with batter around it. It's not a common thing like in England. It's more in Scotland. Would you ever consider eating one of those?
Why not? I mean, deep fried chocolate sounds disgustingly delicious. So yeah, I'll try it. I'll take a bite of it. I don't think it's gonna hurt me. I've really opened up. A lot of people always give me crap. They don't comprehend, or they think that I'm lying, that I don't eat certain foods. I'm a picky eater, but it's all the truth. I don't lie about these videos, and I've said it millions of times, but I don't have an explanation for it. But now, as I'm growing up, I'm 21 years old. I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm starting to try new foods, and I'm starting to eat new things and do new things. So why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to spit it out.
Yeah. And then more of like a philosophical one to wrap up the Twitter questions. If you could send a message to the entire world, what would you say?
Just make the most of your life. Make the most in the best way, and make the most of an impact in the world as you can. And don't always think about yourself. There's a lot more to life than just being everything for yourself. Obviously, it's important to make a living and to do things and to experience a full life. But it's also important to give back to this world. I always think that when I'm going to pass away one day, that I want to be able to leave this world with more than I put into it. That's my biggest thing. And I know not everyone's going to think that way, but I just think it's just important to care about others and just live the best life you can.
Cool. And then one from me personally. What's your favourite thing outside of creating content, Call of Duty, going to the gym? Like, what's your favourite other thing to do, like as like a hobby or?
You took away all my favorite things. Basketball, hanging out with my friends, going to the movies, hanging out with my girlfriend. That's basically it. I like to do things spontaneously too. If there's something, if I plan on doing one thing and then something else just pops up, that is very exciting to me as well. Whether that thing is just something random, like walking to a certain place, or flying somewhere, or doing something, or visiting a certain landmark in the world. I'd have to say on a casual day-to-day basis, though, it'd have to be playing basketball and just hanging out with my friends.
Okay, cool. So now we've had like the main bulk of the questions. Going to move on to a bit more of like a quick fire game type thing. So I'm going to say 2 things and you're going to pick one of them. So if I was to say smart or casual, you would say, what would you say? Smart
or casual?
Yeah.
Casual.
Casual. So I'm just going to rattle through them, and then so I'll say 2 and then you just pick one, all right? So early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Hot or cold weather?
Cold.
Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Lamborghini.
Gym grind or cog grind?
Gym grind.
PC or Mac?
PC.
Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 3?
Black Ops 1.
AW or Ghost?
Ghost.
Thor or Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Laptop or smartphone?
Smartphone.
Banks or rain?
I'm sorry?
FaZe Banks or rain?
FaZe Banks or Rain?
Yeah.
I don't know. Banks?
Killer or Fizzit?
Killa?
PS4 or Xbox One?
PS4.
Black Ops 2 or COD 4?
Black Ops 2.
Raid or standoff? The maps.
Raid.
And then solo or retreat?
Retreat.
And then finally, to wrap up the interview, money or fame?
Fame.
Fame. Fair enough. Well, that is your interview, guys. That's the first one of the series done. Massive thanks to Censor for coming on, especially as it being the first episode. Is there anyone you want to thank? Anyone you want to say anything to in the video?
Well, first and foremost, you guys are very professional, so I wish you guys the best of luck with whatever your endeavors are, with YouTube, with doing interviews, with getting involved with the scene. I hope Activision could pull through for us this year and make this a great year for Call of Duty Esports, especially since the last year was definitely below the standards that we all wanted. So I just hope that we could have a really great year of Call of Duty.
Okay, well there you go. That's going to wrap up the interview then, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the Esports Hub if you want to see more from me. All of our social media links from me and Doug will be in the description. And yeah, we'll see you next time.